One.
Okay, so today I'm going to be telling you all about mercy ships. So to start, mercy ships began their mission in 1978 with the goal of providing hope and healing to those in need across the world. Mercy ships sends hospital ships filled with professionals on volunteer bases who provide life-saving surgeries and procedures to people who would not otherwise get the help that they need. Globally, there are billions of people who do not have the ability to get a safe surgery if one were to be needed, and 1 in 8 children does not make it past the age of 5. But Mercy Ships is trying to change that. With donations and support from everyday people like us, more children can live to their teenage years, and less people will die because they cannot have a procedure done, or they will die of an unsafe surgery that they think they can afford.
Almost 40 years ago, I took my first trip from Lausanne, Switzerland by train to Italy to look at ships. I listed some of the things that I didn't know or that I'd heard. Things like, you can't do that. It's way too expensive. I didn't know where we would find a crew. In fact, I didn't know what I didn't know. I was 32, that's awfully young. Almost 40 years ago, God took a huge risk. I could say that it all started with a hurricane, or reading a book about the famous SS Hope. I could say it started with meeting Mother Teresa, or with the birth of our special needs son, John Paul. Or I could say it began with my parents' simple way with grace and mercy and dignity with their small town helping hands. I could say all of those things about the very beginning of the idea that became Mercy Ships, and they'd all be true.
Mercy Ships is a unique organisation because it is bringing services to countries that would otherwise never be able to access those services.
The millions of people who either physically or financially do not have access to healthcare are staggering.
We just see people that need help. You realise that they have no way of getting help. And I want them to know that they're loved.
After the rejection and the ridicule and the hard lives that they've had up until this point, then to have a ward full of nurses and the other ship staff, people just pour out so much love on them. Love does make a difference.
People say to me, well, there's all these millions. How do you think you can change that? And we can change the individuals one life at a time.
Bringing this hospital ship in with a state-of-the-art platform, surgeons, nurses, professionals from all over the world, offering this free of charge at the highest standards is unique.
If you talk to any of the government leaders, as I have, they will tell you how beneficial Mercy Ships has been, not only for their people, but also in terms of a lasting impact.
We're working hard here to leave a legacy of improved healthcare.
Mercy Ships is particularly good at providing not just training, but training with an imbued sense of needing to pass on the training.
We can work together and do things together that we can never do by ourselves.
The next thing I'm going to talk about is the different ships that they have. The video began to mention their new ship, Global Mercy, before I turned it off. Global Mercy isn't done yet, but when it is completed, it is expected to impact over 150,000 lives just through surgery alone, not to mention the other services they provide. This picture is what it's expected to look like, but it is nowhere near done. The next one, Africa Mercy, is one of the only other ones that is actually in service right now. They have people from over 50 nations across the world volunteer on the ship, and it began service in 1999 after it was refurbished just to be a mercy ship. It was built in 1980 though, so it's a little old, and that's why they're making a new one. The next one is the ship Anastasis. Anastasis was the original mercy ship, so it's pretty old, built in 1953. It sailed for 29 years. 25,000 volunteers were on it, but the ship is more significant in the lives of volunteers because it's known as the love ship. Over 250 couples met on the board, and it had several weddings on the deck. The next one is Caribbean Mercy. This one was the one that served for the longest. It served for 42 years in Central America and the Caribbean. This is also pretty old, built in 1952. The next one is the Good Samaritan. It only spent 11 years as a mercy ship because it was built in 1994 and it had to be renovated, but they just couldn't afford to keep going with it because it was too big. They kind of bit off more than they could chew when they bought this one. So the next kind of part of mercy ships that keeps them going is the donations and the ways that you can get involved and to give to them. There are so many ways to provide to mercy ships and to give them what they need to do, but there's no denying that money is one of the most important parts of it. You can easily donate by making a one-time donation or signing up for a monthly payment on their website. It's pretty easy to access. It's actually all pretty easy to access, so you can volunteer. If you would like to volunteer, they have applications that are easy to get to. They don't require that you have a lot of medical experience, or sometimes not at all, as long as you're a willing servant and that you have some background working with the public. One of the more important parts of it is prayer. Prayer is the whole thing that keeps it going, because without prayer, they wouldn't get the money, they wouldn't get the volunteers, they wouldn't get the ships, and they wouldn't be able to help people. So that is the most effective and the most easy way to be able to help mercy ships out. These are just some pictures of some of the positives of mercy ships, and it's a wonderful organization that saves and changes lives for the better. It is easy to help such a good cause and organization. There's no denying these medical needs, but in these third world countries that these people come from, their needs are denied. Mercy Ships is trying to change that and to provide them what they need to live and to thrive. And my time ran off, so I have no idea how long